My friends, there's a reason why the woman who walks with grace walks alone, not because she's unloved, not because she's unwanted, but because she's chosen to carry something bigger than herself. See, when God puts a weight on your soul, not everybody can walk beside you, not everybody should. God's favorite woman, she's not loud in the room, she's not chasing applause, she's not begging to be seen. She's built for silence, she's forged in fire, she's called for something sacred. People will misunderstand her, they'll say she's cold, they'll say she's too much or not enough, but God sees her in the quiet moments, in the battles no one claps for, in the tears that fall behind closed doors. She walks alone because when you're called, you can't move with the crowd. You walk the narrow path, you walk the midnight path. You walk the holy path. Don't pity her, don't question her, don't try to fix her. She's not broken, she's becoming. God's favorite woman doesn't follow trends, she follows truth. She doesn't settle, she waits. Not for a man, but for a mission, a movement, a moment that was made for her, and when she shows up, mountains move, chains break, generations shift, because when she finally steps out from the shadows, she doesn't just shine, she blinds. Not with ego, but with purpose. God's favorite woman often walks alone, but make no mistake, she is never lonely, he walks with her, and in that walk she becomes unstoppable. God's favorite woman carries a divine calling that sets her apart. This calling is not something that fits into the ordinary pattern of life, nor does it conform to what the world expects from her. It is a profound, sacred mission placed upon her soul, something given by a higher power that demands a unique strength and resilience. When God calls a woman for such a purpose, it changes everything about how she sees herself and how the world perceives her. This calling is not accidental. It is intentional, deliberate, and full of weight. It shapes her identity and guides her steps in ways that often seem mysterious to others. This divine calling makes her walk differently. While others may walk the familiar paths of comfort and routine, she walks a path that is sometimes lonely and demanding. It's a path carved out by faith, by vision, and by a purpose that transcends personal desire. She knows that her mission isn't about pleasing everyone or fitting in. It's about fulfilling what God has placed in her heart. She understands that this calling requires sacrifice, discipline, and often walking through fire without wavering. It means carrying burdens that others may not see and facing challenges that can test the very core of her spirit. Carrying this divine calling also means that she is set apart from the crowd. The world tends to celebrate popularity, ease, and conformity, but she is called to something different. She is called to stand firm in truth, to uphold values that may not always be popular, and to make decisions based on a higher purpose rather than immediate gratification. This often results in her standing alone, standing apart, not because she desires to be isolated, but because the nature of her calling demands integrity, courage, and a willingness to walk where few dare to go. The divine calling equips her with a kind of inner strength that does not depend on the approval of others. Her calling also shapes her mindset. She thinks differently, she dreams differently, she prays differently. When a woman is carrying such a sacred mission, her perspective shifts from short-term gains to eternal significance. She measures success not by worldly standards, but by spiritual fulfillment and the impact she leaves on those around her. This shift influences every decision she makes, from how she manages her time to the relationships she invests in. She understands that distractions are many, but her focus must remain on the task at hand, the vision she carries. Moreover, this calling brings with it a deep sense of responsibility. It is not something to be taken lightly or brushed aside. When God places a mission on a woman's heart, it is a weight that she carries with reverence and commitment. This responsibility is often invisible to the outside world, yet it is profound. It requires her to be a source of strength, wisdom, and hope for others, even when she herself feels weary. She becomes a beacon of light in darkness, a voice for the voiceless, and a source of encouragement for those who have lost their way. At the same time, this calling often isolates her because not everyone understands what she is walking through. The world may see only the surface, the quiet moments, the solitude, the lack of companionship, but they do not see the depth of her purpose. They do not understand that her loneliness is often a sacred solitude where she draws strength, clarity, and guidance. In this solitude, she communes with God, finding renewal and direction to keep moving forward. It is in these moments alone that her spirit is refined, her resolve is strengthened, and her vision becomes clearer. Her divine calling also means that she cannot compromise on her values. There will be pressures from society, from peers, even from within herself, to conform, to settle, or to take the easier road. But the woman carrying this sacred mission knows that the path she walks requires unwavering faithfulness. She understands that compromise dilutes purpose, and that staying true to her calling is what will ultimately bring fulfillment and success. This steadfastness often sets her apart, making her misunderstood or even criticized, but she remains unshaken because her allegiance is to a higher power. Carrying a divine calling also prepares her for greatness. It is not a burden without reward, it is a path leading to impact. The calling expands her beyond limitations, pushing her to grow spiritually, emotionally, and mentally. It opens doors that might have otherwise remained closed and brings opportunities that align with her mission. Through this process, she discovers strength she never knew she had, and a courage that surprises even herself. The challenges become stepping stones, and the hardships become lessons. Every trial she faces becomes a testimony to the power of her calling. This sacred mission also connects her to a lineage of women who have walked before her, women who carried divine callings and changed the world despite the odds. She draws inspiration from their stories and recognizes that she is part of a greater story. This connection gives her a sense of belonging even when she walks alone. It reminds her that her calling is part of a divine plan that transcends time and circumstance. She is not isolated in her purpose. She is part of a legacy that continues to inspire generations. Finally, carrying this divine calling shapes her legacy. It is about more than the present moment. It's about the impact she will leave long after she is gone. The choices she makes, the sacrifices she endures, and the faith she holds fast to all contribute to a legacy of purpose, courage, and faithfulness. She understands that this calling is eternal, and that by walking it with integrity, she is changing not only her life, but the lives of countless others. This understanding fuels her determination to keep moving forward, no matter the obstacles or the loneliness she may face. In every step, the woman carrying God's divine calling reflects a purpose beyond herself, a mission that sets her apart and demands everything she has to give. It is a calling that changes how she walks, how she thinks, and how she lives, marking her as truly God's favorite. Walking alone is a sign of strength, not weakness. In a world that often equates solitude with loneliness and independence with isolation, the truth is that walking alone can be one of the most courageous acts a person can undertake. When a woman chooses, or is chosen, to walk alone, it means she has embraced a strength that comes from within, a power rooted in self-awareness, faith, and purpose. It is not a sign of defeat, abandonment, or vulnerability. Rather, it is a declaration that she is unshaken by the absence of others and undeterred by the path she must take. To walk alone means to stand firm even when the voices around you urge you to conform, to blend in, or to rely on the crowd for comfort. It means having the resilience to face uncertainty without the safety net of constant companionship or approval. It requires a deep reservoir of inner peace, one that cannot be disturbed by the noise of judgment or misunderstanding. A woman who walks alone knows that the journey she is on is not meant to be easy or popular. It is meant to refine her, to teach her, and to reveal her true strength. This strength is not loud or boastful. It is quiet, steady, and relentless. Walking alone often means embracing solitude without bitterness. There is a powerful difference between being alone and being lonely. Loneliness is a feeling of emptiness or longing for connection that leaves the heart unsettled. Being alone, on the other hand, can be a sacred space where clarity, growth, and renewal happen. For the woman walking alone, solitude becomes her companion, her sanctuary, and her classroom. In these moments alone, she learns to listen to herself, to God, to the subtle whispers of purpose that guide her steps. She learns to stand tall not because of who is beside her, but because of who she is within. Strength is revealed most clearly in moments of solitude because there are no distractions, no crowd to hide behind, and no one to blame for failures or fears. In these moments, the woman walking alone confronts herself with honesty and courage. She faces her doubts and insecurities, wrestles with her weaknesses, and chooses to rise anyway. This act of rising without applause or recognition is a profound demonstration of strength. It shows that her foundation is not built on external validation, but on an unshakable belief in her purpose and worth. Walking alone also means making decisions that others may not understand or support. It means setting boundaries, saying no to toxic influences, and refusing to compromise values for the sake of convenience. These decisions often come with criticism, misunderstanding, or even rejection from those who do not see the bigger picture. Yet the woman who walks alone understands that true strength lies in fidelity to her path, not in pleasing the crowd. She is willing to bear the burden of being misunderstood because she knows that her mission is greater than momentary approval. There is a courage in walking alone that is transformative. It changes the way a woman sees herself and the world around her. It teaches her independence, not the kind that isolates or alienates, but the kind that empowers and liberates. Independence means that she is not dependent on others for her sense of identity, success, or happiness. Instead, she has learned to rely on her own faith, wisdom, and resilience. This independence is a testament to her inner strength, a strength that has been forged through trial, reflection, and perseverance. Furthermore, walking alone cultivates a kind of confidence that is rare and precious. This confidence does not come from boasting or external accomplishments, but from the deep knowing that she is capable of navigating life's challenges on her own terms. It is the confidence that says, I can face whatever comes because I am grounded in who I am and what I believe. This confidence radiates in her presence and influences those around her, inspiring others to find their own strength and courage. The strength found in walking alone also prepares a woman for leadership. Leadership is rarely a popular or easy road. It often requires standing apart, making difficult choices, and being willing to lead where others will not follow. The woman who walks alone is equipped to carry this responsibility because she has already proven to herself that she can stand firm without the safety of the crowd. Her solitude becomes a training ground for the leadership roles she will one day embrace, roles that require vision, integrity, and unwavering commitment. Walking alone also deepens faith. When a woman is not surrounded by others, she learns to trust the unseen, to lean into the presence of God or the divine in ways that are intimate and profound. Her faith becomes her anchor and her guide, steadying her through storms and illuminating her path when the way seems unclear. This kind of faith is not superficial or convenient. It is tested, refined, and proven through solitary moments of prayer, reflection, and trust. In addition, walking alone fosters resilience. Life is unpredictable, and the path is often strewn with obstacles, setbacks, and heartbreaks. The woman who walks alone develops a resilience that is not dependent on external comfort, but arises from within. She learns to adapt, to persevere, and to find strength in every setback. This resilience is a vital part of her journey, equipping her to face whatever lies ahead with courage and grace. Ultimately, walking alone is a powerful expression of self-respect and dignity. It means refusing to settle for less than what she deserves or what her calling demands. It means valuing herself enough to stand apart, to wait for the right moments, and to guard her spirit fiercely. This kind of strength is not always visible to the outside world, but it is unmistakable to those who recognize true courage when they see it. It is the strength of a woman who knows her worth, embraces her journey, and walks alone with the confidence that she is never truly by herself. She embraces silence and solitude as part of her growth. In a world that is constantly noisy, where distractions pull at every corner and attention is rarely still, choosing silence and solitude is an act of courage and intention. For the woman walking a sacred path, silence is not emptiness. It is a sacred space where transformation happens. She knows that in the quiet moments, away from the chaos and demands of life, she can connect with her deepest self and with the divine source of her calling. Embracing silence means welcoming stillness as a teacher, a healer, and a guide. Solitude, too, is not simply being alone. It is being present with oneself in a way that cultivates clarity and strength. The woman who chooses solitude understands that growth requires space. It requires stepping away from the noise of the world and the opinions of others to listen deeply to her own heart. In solitude, she confronts the truths that are hidden beneath the surface, the fears, the dreams, the hopes, and the wounds that shape her. This confrontation is not always comfortable, but it is necessary. It is in these moments of honest self-reflection that real growth begins. Silence allows her to hear what is often drowned out by the world, the subtle promptings of her spirit, the whisper of purpose that guides her next steps. In a life filled with constant activity and demand, these quiet moments become lifelines. They provide her with direction when the path seems unclear, peace when anxiety threatens to overwhelm, and wisdom when decisions loom large. The power of silence is that it reveals what cannot be seen or heard in the noise. It reveals the heart of the matter. Moreover, embracing silence is a way of cultivating patience. Growth, especially the kind that is spiritual and profound, does not happen overnight. It is a slow, steady process that requires waiting, trusting, and enduring seasons of stillness. The woman who embraces silence understands that rushing through life or forcing progress will not produce the fruits she desires. Instead, she learns to be present in each moment, to accept what is, and to trust the process of unfolding. This patience nurtures resilience and deepens her faith. Solitude also provides the space for healing. Life's journey is often marked by pain, loss, and disappointment. The woman walking alone carries scars that may not be visible but run deep. In solitude, she finds a refuge where she can tend to these wounds without distraction or pressure. This healing is not about escaping reality, but facing it with courage and grace. It allows her to shed what no longer serves her and to emerge stronger, wiser, and more whole. Embracing silence and solitude also fosters creativity and insight. When the mind is free from constant input and distraction, it can explore new ideas, perspectives, and possibilities. The woman in silence can tap into a wellspring of creativity that might otherwise remain buried under the busyness of life. She finds new solutions to problems, new ways of seeing the world, and new expressions of her unique gifts. This creative energy is essential to fulfilling her divine calling. In addition, silence and solitude deepen her relationship with God or the divine. In the quiet, she can hear the still small voice that often gets lost in the noise of everyday life. She learns to trust that voice, to respond to it, and to rely on it as her guide. This intimacy with the divine becomes a source of strength and comfort that sustains her through difficult seasons. It is in solitude that prayer, meditation, and reflection take on their fullest meaning, becoming not just rituals but lifelines. The woman who embraces silence and solitude also gains a clearer sense of identity. Without the constant influence of external opinions and expectations, she can discover who she truly is beneath the role she plays and the mask she wears. This self-awareness is empowering because it frees her from the need to seek validation from others. She becomes grounded in her own truth, and this grounding becomes the foundation for all her choices and actions. Furthermore, silence and solitude cultivate humility. In quiet moments, she recognizes her limitations and her dependence on something greater than herself. This humility does not diminish her strength. Rather, it grounds her in reality and opens her heart to growth. It reminds her that she is part of a larger story, connected to others and to the divine in ways that transcend her individual journey. Choosing silence and solitude is not always easy. Society often equates being busy with being valuable and being surrounded by people with being successful. The woman who embraces these gifts must resist the pressure to constantly perform, to constantly engage, and to constantly be visible. She must create boundaries that protect her sacred space and allow her the freedom to be still. This requires discipline, courage, and a deep commitment to her own well-being and purpose. In these quiet, solitary moments, she is not alone but accompanied by wisdom, strength, and grace. She discovers that the silence is alive with possibility, and the solitude is fertile ground for transformation. It is here that she prepares for the next step on her journey, renewed and equipped to face the world with clarity and courage. This embrace of silence and solitude ultimately shapes how she moves through life. It gives her a calm confidence that is rooted in deep knowing rather than fleeting circumstances. It enables her to respond rather than react, to lead rather than follow, and to live with intention rather than drift aimlessly. Her walk, though often solitary, is rich with meaning and purpose because it is nurtured in the sacred spaces of silence and solitude. Misunderstanding and judgment are part of her journey. When a woman walks a path that is different from the norm, especially one guided by divine purpose or a higher calling, she inevitably encounters those who do not understand her. The world often judges what it cannot comprehend, and the unique choices, convictions, and sacrifices she makes can be misinterpreted or dismissed. This misunderstanding is not a reflection of her value or worth, but rather a consequence of walking a road less traveled. It is a challenge that she must face with grace and resolve, knowing that judgment is often born from fear, ignorance, or limited perspective. People tend to judge what is unfamiliar or what challenges their expectations. When a woman chooses integrity over convenience, when she stands firm in her beliefs despite popular opinion, or when she prioritizes purpose over acceptance, she may be labeled as difficult, stubborn, or even cold. These judgments come without a full understanding of the depth of her journey or the strength required to stay true to herself. Often, they stem from others projecting their own fears and insecurities onto her. Yet she must learn not to internalize these judgments, for they do not define her. Misunderstanding can be isolating. It creates walls where there could be bridges and casts shadows over moments that might otherwise be filled with support and encouragement. The woman walking her sacred path might find herself misunderstood by family, friends, or colleagues. those she hoped would stand beside her. This lack of understanding can sting deeply because it is not just a difference of opinion. It feels like a rejection of who she is becoming. But in these moments, she learns the crucial lesson of discerning whose opinions truly matter and whose judgments she can let go. Judgment often comes in subtle ways, through whispered criticisms, sideways glances, or exclusion from social circle. It may also come more overtly, through harsh words or blatant opposition. Regardless of its form, judgment is an external pressure that tests her resolve. Yet, she grows stronger each time she resists the urge to conform or to defend herself unnecessarily. Instead of allowing judgment to derail her, she uses it as fuel to deepen her commitment to her purpose. She understands that being misunderstood is often a sign that she is moving in the right direction, forging a path that few dare to take. This experience of misunderstanding and judgment teaches her humility and empathy. She realizes that everyone carries their own burdens and blind spots. Those who judge her are often struggling with their own fears and uncertainties. This awareness helps her respond with compassion rather than anger or bitterness. She learns to forgive those who misjudge her, recognizing that their opinions are limited by their own experiences. This ability to respond with grace not only preserves her peace, but also models strength and maturity for others. At the same time, encountering judgment sharpens her discernment. She becomes more intentional about the company she keeps and the voices she listens to. She seeks out relationships that nurture and support her journey rather than drain or distract her. She understands that not everyone is meant to understand or accompany her on her path, and that is okay. This discernment protects her energy and helps her stay focused on what truly matters. Misunderstanding also reveals the courage embedded in her journey. It takes bravery to continue walking forward when the world around her doubts or dismisses her. It requires faith to believe in her purpose when validation is scarce. The woman who endures judgment without losing her way embodies resilience and strength. She stands as a testament to the power of conviction, showing that true greatness is not measured by popularity or approval, but by steadfastness in the face of opposition. Her experience with misunderstanding often equips her to be a voice for others who are marginalized or overlooked. Having faced judgment herself, she develops a heart for those who struggle with acceptance and belonging. This empathy inspires her to advocate for truth, justice, and inclusion, broadening her impact beyond her own journey. She understands that her challenges are not only personal, but part of a larger story of resilience and transformation. Judgment can also clarify her priorities. When faced with criticism or misunderstanding, she is forced to reflect on why she is on her path and what she hopes to achieve. This reflection strengthens her vision and renews her commitment. It reminds her that her purpose is greater than any one person's opinion, and that her value is inherent, not contingent on external approval. Through all of this, she learns to speak her truth with confidence and clarity. Misunderstanding does not silence her, instead it sharpens her voice. She becomes articulate about her beliefs and boundaries, communicating with honesty and respect. This clarity not only empowers her, but also invites others to see her for who she really is, even if they cannot fully understand her journey. Ultimately, navigating misunderstanding and judgment becomes a crucial part of her growth. It challenges her to develop resilience, compassion, and clarity. It refines her character and strengthens her resolve. She comes to understand that judgment is an inevitable part of walking a sacred path, but it is also an opportunity to deepen her faith and fortify her spirit. The woman who embraces this reality walks forward with grace, knowing that the greatest validation comes from within, and from the divine purpose that guides her. Her purpose transcends approval and companionship. In a world that often measures success by popularity and connection, the woman carrying a divine calling understands that her true purpose goes far beyond seeking approval from others or the comfort of companionship. She recognizes that while relationships and acceptance can be meaningful, they are not the foundation of her journey. Her purpose is rooted in something far greater, something eternal and unshakable. This understanding sets her apart and gives her the strength to walk paths that may seem lonely or misunderstood. When her purpose transcends approval, she frees herself from the need to constantly please others or fit into societal expectations. This freedom is both empowering and challenging. It means she no longer measures her worth by the applause of the crowd or the number of people who agree with her. Instead, she finds validation in the fulfillment of the mission placed upon her heart. She is driven by a sense of divine responsibility that is not dependent on external approval. This inner compass guides her decisions and actions, allowing her to stay true to herself even when it is unpopular or inconvenient. Her journey is marked by moments where companionship may be scarce, yet she does not see this as a deficit but as a necessary condition for growth. She understands that some seasons require walking alone so that she can develop strength, clarity, and resilience. The absence of constant companionship allows her to focus deeply on her purpose without distraction. It is in these solitary moments that she cultivates a rich inner life, a relationship with herself and with the divine that nourishes her soul and fortifies her spirit. This transcendent purpose also means that she is not swayed by fleeting trends or the approval of the moment. Her vision is long-term, focused on impact that lasts beyond immediate gratification. She embraces patience and perseverance, knowing that true fulfillment comes from aligning with a higher calling rather than chasing temporary acceptance. This mindset helps her withstand criticism and rejection because she sees them as part of the process, not the final verdict on her worth or mission. Her purpose calls her to lead with integrity and authenticity, qualities that often require difficult choices and sacrifices. She may have to say no to relationships, opportunities, or activities that do not align with her calling. This discernment requires courage, as it can lead to isolation or misunderstanding. Yet she embraces these challenges because she knows that her ultimate goal is not to accumulate followers or friends, but to live a life of meaning and impact. Her commitment to purpose over approval keeps her anchored in truth, even when the world tries to pull her in different directions. In transcending companionship, she also learns the importance of self-reliance and inner strength. While she values community and connection, she does not depend on others for her sense of identity or purpose. This independence is a source of empowerment, allowing her to navigate life's challenges with confidence and grace. She cultivates resilience that is not contingent on external support, but grows from within. This self-reliance enables her to face loneliness not as a weakness, but as an opportunity for deepening her character. Her purpose also shapes how she approaches relationships. She seeks connections that are genuine, supportive, and aligned with her values rather than superficial or conditional. She understands that true companionship enriches her journey but does not define it. This discernment helps her build a circle of influence that encourages her growth and honors her calling. She becomes intentional about the energy she allows into her life, protecting her focus and nurturing those relationships that matter. The woman whose purpose transcends approval and companionship also understands the power of solitude in cultivating wisdom and clarity. In moments alone, she reflects on her path, listens to her intuition, and aligns herself with her higher mission. This practice of solitude is not loneliness, but a sacred space for renewal and insight. It strengthens her ability to discern her next steps and to move forward with confidence. Moreover, this transcendence frees her from the fear of rejection or abandonment. She knows that her worth is not dependent on being liked or accepted by everyone. This realization brings a profound peace that allows her to engage with the world authentically and fearlessly. She stands tall, grounded in the knowledge that her value is inherent and her mission divine. This peace empowers her to navigate social dynamics with grace and integrity. Her purpose also fuels a sense of vision that surpasses immediate circumstances. She sees herself as part of a larger story, a story that involves transformation, legacy, and impact that reaches beyond her lifetime. This vision gives her strength to persevere through hardships and to remain faithful when the road is difficult. It anchors her in hope and determination, knowing that her efforts contribute to something far greater than herself. In living a life where purpose transcends approval and companionship, she becomes a beacon for others. Her example inspires those around her to seek their own truth and to embrace their unique callings even when it means standing apart. She shows that it is possible to walk with courage, conviction, and grace, regardless of external validation. This transcendence also invites her to cultivate deep gratitude and humility. She recognizes that her journey is a gift and that her purpose is not earned by popularity but entrusted to her as a sacred responsibility. This humility keeps her grounded and open to growth, even as she stands firm in her mission. It reminds her that the journey is ongoing and that each step forward is an act of faith and devotion. Ultimately, her purpose that transcends approval and companionship shapes every aspect of her life, from the choices she makes to the way she interacts with others. It frees her to live authentically and boldly, guided by a vision that is bigger than herself. This understanding transforms loneliness from a burden into a powerful opportunity for growth, strength, and profound fulfillment. Her journey is a testament to resilience and unwavering faith. The path she walks is not an easy one. It is marked by challenges, setbacks, and moments that test the very core of her being. Yet through every trial, she stands firm, demonstrating a resilience that is both inspiring and humbling. This resilience is not born out of mere willpower or stubbornness. It is rooted in a deep and abiding faith that carries her forward when circumstances threaten to overwhelm her. Resilience in her story is the quiet strength that refuses to give up even when the road is steep and uncertain. It is the resolve to keep moving forward when the world seems to say, "Stop." This strength is cultivated through experience, through the lessons learned from hardship and the wisdom gained from enduring pain. Each obstacle she faces becomes an opportunity to grow stronger, to deepen her understanding of herself, and to renew her commitment to her purpose. Her faith plays a crucial role in nurturing this resilience. It is a faith that goes beyond religious rituals or surface-level belief. It is a profound trust in something greater than herself, a divine presence that guides, sustains, and empowers her. This faith is the anchor that keeps her grounded when storms rage and the future appears uncertain. It is a source of hope that fuels her perseverance and a wellspring of courage that enables her to face adversity without despair. In moments of doubt and fear, her faith reminds her of her identity and worth. It reassures her that she is not alone, that every step she takes is known and ordained by a higher power. This assurance transforms her perspective on difficulties, allowing her to see them not as punishments or failures, but as part of a divine process of refinement and growth. Her faith reframes hardship as a classroom where character is formed and resilience is strengthened. Her journey is also characterized by a refusal to be defined by failure. She understands that setbacks are not the end, but rather a part of the ongoing process of becoming. Each time she stumbles or falls, she rises again, often with greater wisdom and determination. This pattern of rising after falling is a hallmark of resilience. It shows a spirit that is unbroken and a heart that is steadfast. She does not let failure dictate her story. Instead, she uses it as a stepping stone toward greater achievement and fulfillment. This resilience is intertwined with patience. She recognizes that transformation does not happen overnight and that faith requires waiting. Waiting can be one of the most difficult aspects of her journey, as it demands trust in timing that is often invisible and mysterious. Yet, she learns to embrace patience as a vital part of resilience, understanding that growth unfolds in its own season. This patience allows her to endure long periods of uncertainty without losing hope or giving in to frustration. Her resilience is also reflected in her ability to adapt. Life's challenges are rarely predictable, and the woman on this path learns to be flexible without losing sight of her core purpose. She adjusts her approach, learns new skills, and seeks support when needed, all while maintaining her focus on the ultimate goal. This adaptability is not a sign of weakness, but a demonstration of strength and wisdom. It shows a willingness to evolve and a commitment to staying the course, no matter the obstacles. In addition, her journey of resilience is marked by vulnerability. She does not pretend to be invincible or to have all the answers. Instead, she acknowledges her struggles openly and honestly, allowing herself to be seen in her humanity. This vulnerability is a source of strength because it fosters connection and authenticity. It enables her to receive help and encouragement, and it inspires others who face similar challenges. Her willingness to be vulnerable makes her resilience relatable and accessible. Her faith and resilience also empower her to maintain hope in the darkest moments. Hope is the light that shines when all other lights go out. It is the belief that something better lies ahead, that her efforts are not in vain, and that her story is still unfolding. This hope sustains her when discouragement threatens to take hold, giving her the energy to keep moving forward. It is a profound expression of trust in the divine plan and in her own capacity to overcome. Through her journey, she becomes a living example of what it means to persevere with grace. Her resilience is not just about endurance, but about growing through hardship and emerging stronger. It is about carrying wounds without being wounded, facing fear without being paralyzed, and standing firm without being rigid. She embodies a resilience that is dynamic, hopeful, and deeply rooted in faith. Her story challenges the notion that strength is always visible or loud. Often, resilience is quiet and unseen, expressed in daily acts of courage, the choice to keep going, and the refusal to surrender to despair. This quiet strength is what sustains her and propels her forward, even when the world offers little encouragement. It is a testament to the power of faith to transform weakness into strength and difficulty into opportunity. Her resilience and faith also inspire those who witness her journey. They see in her an example of how to face life's challenges with dignity and courage. She becomes a source of encouragement, showing that it is possible to overcome obstacles and to remain faithful in the process. Her journey serves as a beacon of hope for others who may be struggling, reminding them that resilience and faith can carry them through their darkest hours. The woman who walks alone, guided by resilience and faith, ultimately shapes a legacy that transcends her own story. Her journey impacts not only her life, but the lives of those around her and generations to come. Her strength becomes a foundation upon which others can build, her faith a light that continues to shine beyond her own steps. Through resilience and unwavering trust, she walks a path of purpose that is both deeply personal and profoundly universes. Thank you